Hey, warriors! Every day we make hundreds of choices without even realizing it, and most of them are driven by emotions, not logic. That's why the Stoics taught the power of mastering your inner world. When you control your reaction, you control your reality. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about that. Life will always throw challenges at you. Insults, disappointments, setbacks. Your first instinct? React, defend, get angry. But every time you do, you hand over your power. That's not freedom, that's slavery to impulse. Refusing to react isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's choosing calm over chaos, clarity over confusion. In a world that pushes you to be loud, fast, and impulsive, the one who pauses is the one who's truly strong. Picture this: the last time you regretted something you said in anger or fear. That regret came from reacting without thinking. But here's the secret: creating a gap between what happens to you and how you respond gives you power. In that space, you choose wisdom, calm, and strength. That's what the Stoics called virtue, the highest human achievement. Anger wants you to explode. Fear wants you to run. Ego wants you to fight. But wisdom whispers, pause, breathe, choose. That's where transformation begins. These Stoic practices aren't just ideas, they're tools you can use every day. People will provoke you. Life will test you. But no one can control you unless you let them through your reactions. Epictetus said it clearly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So visualize yourself in conflict, chaos, or pressure. Now see yourself standing calm, unshaken, untouchable. That's the power of refusing to react. If this speaks to you, like the video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more ways to live with strength and clarity. And write this in the comments: I choose wisdom over reaction.
1. The sacred pause, your path to freedom. In a world that glorifies speed, silence is a revolution. We live in a culture where instant replies, immediate reactions, and snap judgments are the norm. But the truth is, the faster we react, the less we actually think, and therein lies the danger. The Stoics understood something profound. The most powerful person in the room isn't the one who speaks first, it's the one who waits. Waiting isn't weakness, it's wisdom disguised as patience. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." He didn't say silence or avoidance, but delay, the sacred pause. This pause is your shield. It's the breath that keeps your words from becoming weapons and your emotions from becoming chains. Think about it. How many battles in history, how many broken friendships, how many shattered families could have been saved by just a moment's pause? One deep breath, one moment of silence, 1 second of restraint. But here's the beauty. The pause isn't just about avoiding harm. It's also about uncovering truth. When you pause, you create space. In that space, you start to see more clearly. You begin to separate the noise of your emotions from the wisdom of your mind. Modern neuroscience even backs this up. When we react impulsively, the amygdala, the primitive part of the brain, takes over. But when we pause, even for a few seconds, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and judgment, steps in. That pause literally rewires your decision-making in the moment. It shifts you from survival mode to wisdom mode. The Stoics believed that freedom comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling yourself. The pause is where that control begins. Imagine someone insults you publicly. Your instinct might be to retort, defend, or prove them wrong. But if you pause, even for 2 seconds, you strip that insult of its power.
You turn a provocation into an opportunity for clarity. This isn't about staying silent forever or bottling up emotions. It's about reclaiming the lost art of waiting, responding when you're ready, not when you're provoked.
The sacred pause can take many forms. It might be as simple as one deep breath before replying to a message, stepping away for a moment before responding to an insult, closing your eyes before making a tough decision, or saying to yourself, "Not yet. Let me think." These tiny acts of delay become mighty shields against regret. Marcus Aurelius captured this practice when he wrote in his Meditations, "If you're distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." The pause is where that revocation begins. It's the moment you reclaim power over your own mind. Now, some might ask, but won't people think I'm weak if I don't react immediately? The answer? No. In fact, the opposite is true. The one who pauses commands respect because they show they're not a slave to impulse. They show their dignity is worth more than momentary satisfaction. Think of a lion. A lion doesn't leap to respond to every sound in the jungle. It waits. It observes. It chooses its moment with precision. The pause doesn't make the lion weak. It makes it majestic. So it is with us. The pause is your path to freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from manipulation, freedom from emotional slavery. In every pause, you reclaim your life. Let me give you a simple practice you can start today. The rule of 3 breaths. Whenever you feel the urge to react, anger, offense, frustration, commit to taking 3 slow breaths before doing anything. Just 3. Inhale deeply, hold, exhale slowly. Do it again. By the 3rd breath, you'll notice your emotions shift. The fire cools, the fog clears. That's the power of the pause. The Stoics didn't just teach philosophy, they taught practices, ways to live. And this practice, the sacred pause, is one of the most practical gifts you can give yourself. Because ultimately, life isn't measured by how quickly we react, but how wisely we choose. So the next time life tests you, and it will, remember, not everything demands a reaction. Some things demand only your silence, your breath, your calm. In that silence, you'll find not emptiness, but strength. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The pause is how you begin to master yourself. And mastery of self is the truest form of freedom. Pause, breathe, choose. That's the path to wisdom. Let these words guide you, and write this in the comments. I pause, I breathe, I choose.
Number 2, the mirror of truth. What your reactions say about you. Reactions are more than just responses to the world. They're reflections, mirrors that show us the state of our inner self. When someone pushes your buttons, it's not the button that matters, it's what's beneath it. The Stoics believed that emotions aren't enemies to be destroyed, but teachers, signals to be understood. They remind us where we're still fragile, still unhealed, still tied to ego or fear. Epictetus captured this truth when he said, "When someone provokes you, rest assured it's your own opinion that provokes you." In other words, the person insulting you doesn't control your anger. Your interpretation of their words does. The insult is external, but your rage is internal. A reaction is a mirror showing you the story you tell yourself. If an insult makes you furious, perhaps pride is ruling you. If a rejection breaks you entirely, perhaps your self-worth is too fragile. If delays leave you restless, perhaps patience is lacking. Every reaction whispers something about your inner landscape. That's why reactions are powerful guides. They reveal truths we often hide from ourselves. Many of us go through life blaming others. They made me angry. They ruined my day. They pushed me too far. But the Stoic path turns the question inward. Why did I give them that power? What inside me allowed this? And here's the beauty. When you start seeing your reactions as mirrors, you stop being ashamed of them. You stop blaming others. Instead, you start learning. Every emotional reaction becomes an invitation to deeper self-awareness. Think about it. If someone calls you a liar and you know you've been honest, you can shrug it off and move on. But if that same word burns you inside, perhaps dishonesty lingers somewhere in your past, or your reputation means more to you than your truth. The reaction reveals the wound. The wound reveals the work. Marcus Aurelius advised himself in Meditations, "If anyone can show me that what I think or do is wrong, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever harmed." Notice his wisdom. He didn't see correction or criticism as an attack. He saw it as a mirror, an opportunity for growth. When we view our reactions as reflections, life transforms. Every insult becomes feedback. Every delay becomes training. Every conflict becomes a classroom. Instead of drowning in emotions, we rise above them and ask, what is this teaching me about myself?
This perspective is liberating. It means you're no longer a victim of what others say or do. Instead, you're a student of your own soul. The world becomes your teacher, not your enemy. Let's be honest. Looking into these mirrors isn't easy. Sometimes they reveal truths we'd rather avoid. Pride, insecurity, jealousy, fear. But here lies the Stoic strength, to look at those truths unflinchingly. Because once you see them clearly, you can work on them. And once you work on them, they lose their power to control you. Here's a practice. The next time you feel provoked, don't rush to act. Instead, ask yourself 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? And what truth about myself is this reaction showing me? This self-inquiry turns every reaction into a revelation. It shifts you from blindness to awareness, from blame to learning. Think of your reactions like signals on a dashboard. If anger lights up, it doesn't mean the world is wrong. It means something inside needs attention. If fear takes over, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means there's a lesson waiting. Ignoring the signal doesn't help. Facing it does. Seneca wisely wrote, "No man became wise by chance." Wisdom requires looking at yourself honestly, and your reactions are the most honest reflection you'll ever get. They show you who you are when the mask falls off. The mirror of truth isn't always flattering, but it's always liberating. Because when you accept that your reactions belong to you, not others, you reclaim your power. You may not always change the world, but you can change what it stirs within you. Let that sink in. People aren't responsible for your peace. You are. Circumstances aren't responsible for your calm. You are. Your reaction is your responsibility, and responsibility is freedom. So the next time life provokes you, look into the mirror of truth. Ask, what is this revealing about me? Then thank life for showing you the next step in your growth. Because ultimately, the person who learns from their reactions doesn't just survive, they master life.
3. The fortress of inner peace. Building unshakable emotional strength. Peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of strength. Life will never stop testing you. Storms will come, people will provoke, disappointments will arrive uninvited. The Stoics knew this well. They lived in a world of wars, betrayals, disease, and loss. Yet they spoke often of a kind of peace no one could steal. Marcus Aurelius described it beautifully. People seek retreats for themselves in the country, by the sea, or in the mountains, but you can find a retreat within yourself at any moment. That retreat he spoke of is the fortress of inner peace. Picture a fortress, strong, steady, unshaken by external winds. That's the image of a mind trained to hold peace. No matter what the world throws at it, it doesn't mean the world gets easier. It means you get stronger. Most people build their peace on fragile foundations: money, others' approval, comfort, control. The problem is, the moment those things are taken away, their peace crumbles. But Stoic peace is different. It's built not on what can be taken, but on what cannot: your principles, your values, your self-control, your clarity. Epictetus taught this truth in simple words: no man is free who is not master of himself. If you rely on external things to feel at peace, you're a prisoner. But if your peace is rooted in self-mastery, then nothing can enslave you. Building this fortress begins with training the mind daily. Just as a soldier doesn't wait for war to start training, you can't wait for a crisis to start learning peace. You build your strength before the storm, and every challenge you face becomes another stone added to your walls. Here are 3 pillars for your fortress of peace. 1. Discipline of thought. You can't control every event, but you can control what you allow your mind to dwell on. Replace the habit of constant worry with the practice of deliberate focus. The Stoics trained themselves to separate what they could control from what they couldn't. Peace begins where worry ends. 2. Control of desires. Much of our unrest comes from wanting more success, more attention, more approval. But the Stoics reminded us that true wealth is not having everything, but needing little. When you master your desires, no loss can shake you, because your peace isn't tied to what you consume, but to who you are. 3. Courage in adversity. Fear is one of the greatest thieves of peace. But courage, even quiet courage, is what anchors the soul. The Stoics didn't say we should never feel fear. They said we should act with strength despite it. That choice, courage over panic, fortifies the walls of your inner fortress.
Imagine someone hurls insults at you. If your peace depends on their respect, you'll crumble. But if your peace is built on dignity and self-control, their insults can't breach your fortress. Imagine you lose wealth or status. If your peace depends on those things, the loss will break you. But if your peace rests on character, no loss can touch it. Seneca warned of this truth: he who is brave is free. Freedom doesn't mean a life without hardship. It means hardships can't chain your spirit. That's the essence of inner peace. But here's the key. Building this fortress isn't passive. It's not about escaping the world or pretending nothing hurts. It's about engaging with life from strength, practicing calm daily, and reminding yourself, my peace is mine. No one can take it unless I give it away. Try this practice every morning before you face the day. Close your eyes and remind yourself, today I may face rudeness, delays, disappointments, injustice, but none of these can steal my peace unless I let them. Carry that sentence with you like armor. Over time, you'll notice something shift. What used to disturb you will start to pass by like shadows. What used to shake you will no longer move you. You'll still feel emotions. Yes, you're human, but you'll no longer be ruled by them. That's strength. That's freedom. Think of your mind as a temple. You don't let just anyone walk in with muddy shoes. Likewise, guard your inner peace with care. Not everything deserves a reaction, and not everything deserves access to your peace. Marcus Aurelius put it clearly: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's an unshakable truth. Peace isn't out there in the world. It's here, in the fortress you build with patience, discipline, and courage. So when the storms come, and they will, stand firm in your fortress.
Let the winds howl. Let the waves crash. You'll stand unbroken because your peace doesn't depend on them. It depends on you. Say this with conviction and write it in the comments. My peace is my fortress, and nothing can break it.
4. The art of emotional aikido, redirecting instead of resisting. When we hear the word strength, we often think of resistance, pushing back, standing firm, holding ground. But the Stoics, like many wise traditions, understood a deeper truth. True strength isn't just resisting force, it's redirecting it. Here we can borrow an image from martial arts, specifically Aikido. In Aikido, the goal isn't to meet aggression with aggression. Instead, the practitioner learns to redirect the opponent's energy, turning an attack into an opportunity for balance. Energy isn't wasted, it's transformed. Similarly, emotional mastery isn't about suppressing feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about transforming the energy of those emotions into something higher, more useful, more powerful. The Stoics didn't deny anger, fear, or sadness. They embraced them as natural impulses of human life, but they also believed those emotions could be transformed. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." This means the raw energy of fear or anger isn't inherently destructive. It becomes destructive only when left unshaped. Think of unchecked anger. It destroys relationships, clouds judgment, leaves scars. But when redirected, anger can fuel courage, persistence, or justice. Fear, when redirected, becomes caution, preparation, or wisdom. Even sadness, when embraced and channeled, can grow into compassion and empathy. This is the art of emotional aikido, not resisting emotions, not suppressing them, but moving with them and turning them into allies. Imagine someone insults you in a meeting. The immediate impulse might be to defend or retaliate. Resistance might mean bottling up your anger, holding it inside, but it still eats you from within. But redirection means you pause, breathe, and instead of wasting energy on a reaction, you use it to sharpen your clarity, show calm, rise above the noise. Suddenly, what was meant to harm you becomes a stage for your dignity. Marcus Aurelius gave us a powerful reminder: the best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. Redirection is exactly that, refusing to mirror negativity and instead transforming it into something nobler.
Here's a simple practice for emotional redirection. Name the emotion clearly. The Stoics often journaled to bring clarity to their feelings. If you feel anger rising, say to yourself, "This is anger. This is energy." Naming it takes away some of its power. Find the root energy. Every emotion carries energy. Anger is fire. Fear is tension. Sadness is weight. Instead of resisting the energy, feel it fully. Ask, what can I do with this energy that serves me? Redirect the force. Channel that energy into action. Anger can become determination to grow stronger. Fear can become preparation to face challenges. Sadness can become depth of understanding. In doing so, you don't waste your emotions, you transform them. The truth is, resisting emotions often makes them stronger. The more we fight them, the more they fight back. But when we flow with them, when we acknowledge and redirect, they lose their destructive edge and become part of our strength. Think of water. Water doesn't resist obstacles. It flows around them, over them, through them, and over time, it shapes even the hardest stone. That's the art of emotional aikido, fluid, adaptive, yet powerful beyond measure. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We often read this as "don't react,"
But there's another layer. How you react, how you transform the event, the insult, the hardship, into something that serves your growth. When someone is cruel to you, you can let it harden your heart. Or you can redirect it into compassion, a reminder that their cruelty stems from their own suffering. When life closes a door, you can sit in despair, or you can redirect the disappointment into motivation to carve a new path. This practice doesn't just protect your peace, it empowers your life, because every emotion becomes fuel. Nothing is wasted, even pain becomes part of your strength. Seneca gave us this wisdom: difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. He meant something simple. You can't know your strength until it's tested. You can't build resilience without resistance. Emotional Aikido means you no longer see difficulties as poison. You see them as energy, as training, as nourishment for your growth. So the next time an emotion rises, don't fight it, don't suppress it, redirect it. Flow with it. Turn it into something that elevates you rather than breaks you. That's the true art of emotional mastery. That's Stoic strength in motion. Declare this to yourself and write it in the comments. I transform every emotion into strength.
5. The Phoenix Principle. Rising stronger from every trial. Life will break you. This isn't pessimism, it's truth. There will be losses, betrayals, failures, and days when the weight of existence feels unbearable. But what defines you isn't the breaking, it's what you do afterward. The Stoics believed that adversity isn't a curse, but a forge. Hardship is the fire, and you are the iron. And like iron, you can emerge sharper, stronger, more resilient if you choose to rise. This is what I call the Phoenix Principle, the ability to rise stronger from every trial, every defeat, every failure. Like the mythical phoenix, you may fall to ashes, but those ashes become the soil for your rebirth. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. These aren't poetic words, they're a roadmap. The obstacle doesn't stop your journey, it becomes part of it. When you view hardship through this lens, life changes. Rejection no longer ends your worth. It becomes a redirection to something greater. Failure no longer humiliates. It becomes a blueprint for wisdom. Loss no longer feels like meaningless suffering. It's a reminder of life's value, urging you to live deeply. This principle isn't about blind optimism. It doesn't say everything happens for a reason. The Stoics would reject that. Instead, it says, whatever happens, I will give it meaning. I will turn it into growth. I won't let it destroy me. I'll let it transform me. Think of the hardest moment in your life. Maybe a betrayal. Maybe the loss of someone you loved. Maybe the collapse of a dream. At the time, it felt like the end. Yet here you are, listening, breathing, alive. That survival is proof of a strength already within you. Now imagine if you didn't just survive, but rebuilt yourself stronger because of it. That's the phoenix rising. Epictetus, once a slave, understood suffering deeply. Yet he taught that difficulties are what show what a person is. What you do in the ashes reveals your true character. Here's the key. Pain without reflection hardens the heart, but pain embraced with wisdom strengthens the soul. The Phoenix Principle is about choosing not to waste suffering, turning wounds into wisdom, failures into strategy, a broken heart into compassion.
How do we practice this? 3 steps can guide us. 1. Acceptance. Don't resist reality. Don't waste your strength wishing things were different. Accept what is. That's the ground you stand on. 2. Meaning-making. Ask, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this? The moment you give suffering meaning, It stops being senseless pain and becomes purposeful fuel. 3. Rebuilding with intention. Rising from the ashes doesn't mean returning to who you were. It means becoming someone stronger, wiser, freer. Think of fire itself. Fire can destroy, yes, but it also purifies, clears the unnecessary, and makes way for new life. A forest burns, and in time, richer soil, stronger trees, and new growth emerge. That's not weakness, it's renewal. Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests people." His words are simple. You can't know your strength until it's tested. You can't build resilience without resistance. The Phoenix principle embraces adversity not as punishment, but as the necessary fire that reveals your true nature. It doesn't mean you won't feel pain. The Stoics never denied grief, sadness, or disappointment. Marcus Aurelius mourned his lost children deeply. Seneca wrote of his losses with raw honesty. The Phoenix principle doesn't erase pain, it transforms it into wisdom. Think about it. Every scar on your body tells a story of healing. Emotional scars are the same. They're not reminders of weakness, but proof of resilience. They're evidence you fell, bled, burned, and yet rose. Here's a practical exercise. Whenever you face hardship, write this sentence somewhere visible. This will not break me. It will make me stronger. Read it until your soul believes it. Because when you shift your perspective from victim to creator, the ashes become your strength. Remember, you're not fragile glass shattering at the first blow. You're steel, forged in fire. You're a phoenix. You're built to rise, not once, but every time life tests you. The Stoic path isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about meeting hardship with courage, turning it into growth, and rising from the fire stronger than you were yesterday. So the next time you face hardship, remember, this is your forge, this is your fire, this is your chance to rise as something greater than you were yesterday.
The power of refusing to react isn't a simple skill. It's a journey into the depths of your mind, your heart, your soul. Every principle we explored today, from the sacred pause to seeing your reactions as mirrors, to building an unshakable fortress of peace, mastering emotional aikido, and rising like a phoenix, is a tool, a guide, a key to reclaiming a life you often unknowingly give away to others and circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that life will never stop testing us. People will provoke, situations will disappoint, and challenges will seem impossible. But the one who masters their reactions, who transforms energy instead of wasting it, who builds resilience and rises from the ashes, doesn't just survive, they thrive. They live freely. They live powerfully. Remember, your emotions aren't enemies, they're signals. Your pauses aren't weakness, they're strength. Your hardships aren't punishments, they're opportunities for growth. And above all, your reactions are your choice. Every choice you make becomes a step toward freedom, clarity, and strength. So take these lessons, carry them with you, and let them shape how you respond to the world. Practice the sacred pause. Look into the mirror of truth. Build your fortress of inner peace. Redirect your emotions with mastery. Rise stronger with every trial. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share your affirmations in the comments to remind yourself and others of your strength. Pause, reflect, transform, and rise. You have the power, you have the wisdom, and you have the authority to control your reactions, because your mind, your peace, and your life are yours.